We're going to be talking about the top tips and practices for IELTS speaking.
The speaking test is divided into 3 sections or parts.
We have expand your vocabulary. You have to familiarize yourself with the topic first.
You can obviously take test on PI and get a feedback from certified examiners.
When it comes to being a very good speaker of English, and that's even the same for a native speaker. Okay, moving on to number 9. Let's go, Asheen.
Record and evaluate yourself.
So important, again, part of the reflective process. What does that look like in practice?
See, it is important for a student to know his strengths and weaknesses that I believe can be best judged when we are able to see what we are doing, right? So when it comes to the speaking task, we tell the students we suggest basically the students to record their answers and just listen to the audio again so that they understand where are the punctuation marks missing and the intonation and voice modulation part, which is again playing a very important role.
We've talked about this in the previous podcast,
yes,
haven't we?
We have.
It can be excruciating listening to your voice again, but
yes,
a big part of things is just got to remove your ego and don't be too self-conscious.
Yes.
Your voice is out there, you can't change it. And you just got to come to terms with it. And you're right, recording yourself is an important part. I come from a drama background. I did drama for my A level, and the most powerful bit of rehearsing I did was filming myself, doing one of my monologues before it, and you just see yourself back and you think, oh, I could have changed that better. Oh, that's that. Oh, I didn't realize to do that well. You look for your strengths and weaknesses, and it's about feedback again, isn't it?
Yes.
Giving yourself feedback as well as looking for it from others. Okay, moving on to number 10.
Familiarize yourself with common topics.
Absolutely, there's going to be so many different contexts and topics to talk about. What does that look like in practice?
Well, speaking is always about your personal experience and abstract from a newspaper or article or any experience that you have witnessed, not necessarily that you've read through. That can't be your experience. This is more personalized talking because intonation takes place over here. If I am listening to you, I must be able to relate to what I'm listening to, and I'm able to feel, oh wow, had I been there, I would have felt differently. Absolutely. That's very important.
This comes back to that again, variety is the spice of life.
Yes,
you've got to have a diversity in your resources and your experiences in order to make the most of your life and the most of your learning as well. Fantastic, so familiarize yourself with common topics. Okay, moving on to the penultimate one, number 11.
Politeness and manners.
Again, that says about everything about who we are sometimes. But how's that important for the IELTS speaking exam?
So Nick, it is very important for a student to look like one, and I believe if the student is dressed well, in a way that is accepted, the posture is correct when you're sitting. Yeah, that's absolutely correct now. So that actually enhances your band score. It puts a good impression on your examiner, but at the same time, you need to make sure you're speaking very politely. You should not be shouting at your examiner out of nervousness, or you should not be very, sounding very low.
A lot of cultures do talk about, not judging someone by their appearance, but let's be honest, we're only human. We are all animals and we all judge each other. And it's about how we deal with those judgments. But, people are going to have judgments, so it's important to try and make those judgments as positive as possible, isn't it?
Just imagine a student coming with hair all messy. So as an examiner, I would feel the student has been forced to sit for this test, right? And is not prepared well. So I do not want to put that impression on my examiner.
Flattery can get you so many places. It's a part of charm, but it's also part of manners as well, isn't it? And I love it when a student at the start of their part 2 will say, well, firstly, thank you for giving me this topic. It's a topic I like to speak about, and then moving on. Fantastic, thank you, Asheen. So we're moving on to our final one, which is number 12.
Last but not the least, be concise and relevant.
Absolutely, so important for all sorts of communication, and I hope we've been concise and relevant for you so far. What does that look like in the IELTS exam?
In IELTS exam, it's very important because you must be able to answer directly instead of going around the topic, and you do not give the hint that actually making sense while you're addressing the question. Like a short, concise statement could actually resolve the purpose of talking, because you want the assessor to ask you a minimum of 6 to 7 questions. Right? Complex questions are at least expected 6 to 7 from a student.
It's such an important skill just in life, just to have precise communication.
Right.
You know, sometimes it drives me mad when speaking to people and I just don't get a straight answer from them. You know, it could be just a simple yes or no, and then they're saying, well, it's complicated. I'm thinking, no, I just want to go from A to B. Why is it complicated? Just tell me this. Yeah, so sometimes it's about, you know, being precise and specific in your response, but then also not waffling and, you know, wandering off verbally.
Absolutely, yeah.
Fantastic. So those are your 12 different tips to succeed in the IELTS speaking. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you've been taking notes back home. If you have any questions for us, do let us know. That's all for us today, and we'll see you again in the next video.